Hi guys, welcome to episode 6 of the Blue Sky Lounge. I am your host, Tyler Iantkow. Walt Disney said everything here is a team effort, and you can design, create, and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make that dream a reality. Disney cast members go above and beyond to make everyone feel welcome, and so for this week's Canadian Thanksgiving episode, we're letting them know how thankful we are. We asked you, our friends, to write with your cast member stories, and what a response. There were so many to choose from, so let's get started. Vanessa wrote, when we went to Disney World when Elise was little, we were at the end of a long hot day in Fantasyland. Elise decided that she wanted some ice cream, and we were closest to the ice cream stand that sold the Mickey Premium bars. But Elise didn't want to have any chocolate. My dad and Trevor went and got us the ice cream, and I quickly ate the chocolate off the outside so I could give her just the ice cream. But as I passed her the ice cream, it fell off the stick. Instantly, a cast member was there and cleaned it up and went and bought us a new ice cream for her. It was so kind and unexpected and saved us from a toddler meltdown. So when my wife and I were getting married, we were hanging out at California Adventure with our wedding party. And we were in the hub and watching the streetmosphere that was there. And all of a sudden, this one lady who was on a bicycle came up to our friends Stu and Dan, and she was just interacting with them. We didn't think anything of it. And we started to walk away. And just as we were starting to walk away, the same lady just yells out of nowhere, "Telegram for Daniel!" And so we all turn around and she brings this telegram to Daniel. And he opens it and it's a telegram from Stu, his friend, saying count the lights. So he had to count all of the street lamp lights on the little hub area in Disney's California Adventure. And she really made magic for us, and it was a lot of fun.
My favorite thing about being a cast member was always doing some of the fun events at the Disney store. Things like Art of Animation and being a Jedi and doing the training sessions always made my day.
Thank you, Sabrina. There was one day when my wife and our friend were walking to work when they were working at Epcot, and at the time Duffy the Bear was a big thing in Epcot, and he was just coming out to do his first meet and greets of the day. And just as he was coming out of his area, my wife and our friend were walking by, and Duffy just grabbed both of the girls' hands and kind of skipped with them over to a flower bed and picked them both a flower and gave them the flower, and then he blew them a kiss as he walked away to go meet his first guests. And even though my wife and our friend were cast members and they were on their way to work, it still made them feel special. It still brought joy to them and lightened up their day, and it even made them want to go above and beyond and help other guests throughout the day as well. Amanda wrote, my favorite thing about being a cast member were to have the opportunity to turn to any bad day into a magical day. I loved working for a company that would help me do this. I had a family who had saved up for 5 years for this trip and were very disappointed in their hotel and wanted to know how much it would cost to stay at the Wilderness Lodge. I was able to tell them that it would be no extra charge and to go back to their hotel and pack. I picked them up and brought them to the lodge, where I got to see them every day and hear how amazing this had made their trip. It's the little things that this company allowed me to do that made me love being a cast member. Someone wrote in, a guest asked a cast member at a local Disney store if they had anything Jake from Jake and the Neverland Pirates. They didn't, however. But knowing that she was going to Disney World the next week, the cast member asked the guest for her email. When the cast member was in the park, she got a picture of Jake saying, "Hi, Kareem," and emailed it to the guest's son. It made his year. So this one time at Safaris, there was this little boy that was on the truck. We thought that he was with the parents that were next to him, but apparently he wasn't. So after that, once everybody got off the truck, he was still there, and we knew that we had a situation. So I took it upon myself as the driver of the truck at the time to make sure that the boy felt comfortable. We played games like I Spy and sang songs until his parents came, which was about 10 to 15 minutes later. But he was very calm and collected and, had a lot of fun while he was on the truck with us, which was awesome. Paul wrote, my favorite thing about being a cast member wasn't at all what I expected it to be. I expected interacting with the guests, being part of the magic, and seeing all the backstage things at Walt Disney World would be the best. But at the end of the day, my favorite thing about being a cast member was the overall quality of my colleagues. For those of us who are normally the only kids in the class to raise their hands, we normally feel like outsiders, as most people are happy to stay in the middle of the pack. What I found truly impressive about my time as a cast member was being in a classroom full of kids who want to raise their hands, who all want to excel and be part of the very best. It was refreshing to be surrounded by people who are proud to put in the maximum effort every day with the ultimate goal of creating the magic. So my wife and I were getting married in Disneyland, and some of the things that we had planned didn't go quite as we had planned. And in order to make it up to us, Disney brought us back down for our first anniversary and went all out. We were VIPs when we arrived at the hotel. They comped us a suite for a few nights, which was really nice of them. They gave us park tickets so we could get into the park. One of the coolest things about that day was the cast member that was kind of leading us throughout the morning. Instead of taking us through the regular turnstiles, she pulled out her keys, and she actually had a key to the lock of Disneyland. So she got to open Disneyland just for us, just like Walt would have been able to. They arranged for us to have a special time with the Dapper Dans, who were singing at our wedding, because we didn't actually get to have a photo with them at the wedding, so we got to have a special little time with just the Dapper Dans on Main Street, which was a lot of fun. We got to ride in the trolley with them. All of those experiences were very special to us, and we'll make sure that we keep on holding on to those. Thank you to the Disney Weddings team and everybody that helped make it up to us. That experience was out of this world, and we will never forget it.
Sophie wrote, "As a kid, I always loved Disney, so as soon as I turned 16, I became a cast member at the Disney store in Covent Garden. Christmas always began in September, and I always knew about the latest releases. I worked in stores for almost 10 years and was honored to receive the Disney Spirit Award. However, my fondest memories are the friendships I formed while I was working there. I made lifelong friends, and it is such a privilege to still be in their lives. One memory in particular was when a member of a band me and my fellow cast member Bestie loved walked into our store, Tom Fletcher from McFly. Of course, our guest service was 100%, so it made all of our days. I no longer work for Disney, but it'll always have a special place in my heart."
There is this guard that is at Magic Kingdom in Disney World, and he carries around an autograph book with him and a pen. And whenever he sees a little girl dressed as a princess, he's like, "Oh my gosh, princess, can I have your autograph?" And he pulls out his autograph book, and he has the little girl or the little boy, if it's a prince or a pirate or whatever, right inside the book. And a lot of them are just like scribbles in there that are barely legible because these kids are just learning how to write. But it makes these kids feel so special. And it's because of this that I know there are some Disney stores around North America, if not the world, that do the same thing. I know one of our local Disney stores keeps a book, and if a little girl comes dressed in as a princess, they're like, "Oh my gosh, there's a princess here. Princess, can I have your autograph?" And they do the same thing. They have the kid just right inside the book, and it's so nice to see. So when both of our kids were around 1 year old, we took them down to Disney World, and for their first haircut, we went to the barber shop on Main Street. And it was this one cast member named Shauna who first cut our son's hair. She made like a little certificate for him, and she gave him little mouse ears that said first haircut, which was really special. But then when we took our daughter down, we weren't expecting her to do her hair, obviously. Like, there's so many cast members that work there, and so many barbers. So we just went in, we just wanted to have the experience again. But lo and behold, Shauna was the one that was cutting our daughter's hair, and she actually remembered us from the year before, which was really special. And she did the same treatment with our daughter, and it was a lot of fun just to kind of see the sparkle in both of our kids' eyes when they had it done. There was also this one time when we were at the Grand Floridian Resort. We just finished having breakfast at 1900 Park Fair, and as we were walking out, my son and I were passing Winnie the Pooh, and he wanted to go have pictures with Pooh. And my wife and my daughter ended up leaving the restaurant and going outside and sitting on a bench just outside the Grand Floridian. And as my wife and daughter were out there, this lady walks past and was saying to her, "Oh, your daughter's so cute." And my wife's like, "Oh, thank you." And the lady walks by, and my wife does a double take, and lo and behold, it's Zoe Saldana, the movie star. And it goes to show that even the Disney movie star cast members go above and beyond to make magic. Michelle wrote, we sent Rocco to a 2-hour pirate adventure, which was put on by the activity cast members. It was a great day and he got treasure and everything. But the part that impressed me was that the cast members remembered him every time they saw him for the rest of the week and came to say hi. One night we were watching the fireworks at the resort and she saw us. She came and had a lightsaber fight with him, which of course he loved. On our last trip to Disney World, we saw the steam train parked in front of the Main Street station because they were doing renovations on the tracks due to the building of Tron. And my son loves trains, like obsessed with trains. And it was really nice because you can go up to the trains and you could walk around and like take a really close look at everything, which you can't usually do. And the train engineers were up there and they spent 45 minutes with us, 45 minutes to an hour, just talking about trains and how the trains got there and how the renovation's going and what's involved with the renovations. And they're teaching my son like, oh, this does this and this does this. And my son's 4, like he doesn't fully understand it, but he is like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And they went into so much detail with it, and just to make that special moment for my son, it was so heartwarming and almost brought a tear to my eye, because there are people there that want to put that magic and put that happiness into people.
Shannon wrote that on her first trip to Disney World, they were scheduled to stay at the Art of Animation Resort for 17 days in a Little Mermaid room. After 5 days of being there, they realized that the Little Mermaid room was going to be way too small with all of the luggage, the double stroller, the kids, her husband, and herself. They ended up deciding that they needed to suck up the cost and upgrade to a suite. She ended up going to the front desk and inquired as to what the cost would be. The cast member smiled and looked at her file and asked if she would mind waiting while he made a phone call to inquire. When he came back, he let her know that because she was staying for so long and because it was her first time to Walt Disney World, that he wanted to make an extra magical experience for both her and her family, and decided to upgrade to the Lion King suite for free. She actually cried standing at the front desk and gave the cast member a big hug.
Alana wrote, my favorite thing about being a cast member at the Disney Store was helping grandparents buy gifts for their grandkids. It felt like I was helping connect generations through their versions of Disney. She also wrote, my favorite thing as a cast member at the Disney Store was asking which Disney movies were their favorite and why. People would light up remembering the moment that they fell in love with a character, story, or song. Jessica wrote, my favorite thing about being a cast member was meeting friends from all over the world. Amy wrote, my favorite thing about being a cast member was being able to create an escape from the real world and create a new memory that can be cherished for a lifetime. Being able to assist guests with, here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy, since all we need is a little escape from time to time. Matt wrote, there are so many things I loved about being a cast member, but I think it boils down to one word: connection. My first time stepping into a Disney park was not as a guest, but as a cast member, which is probably not a common experience. While being in a new situation or environment can be isolating, I immediately felt the connection with the company, Walt, Mickey, my fellow cast members, the guests, and of course the magic. And this is what we did as cast members. We connected guests with their imaginations, their inner child, and their sense of adventure. And most importantly, we helped them connect with each other, their friends, families, and loved ones. How amazing to be able to be the conduits for all these connections, and not only that, but also to experience it for ourselves. And the best part for me is that the connections have endured well beyond my time as a cast member.
An anonymous writer wrote, a guest came in asking a cast member for a ring box because the next evening he and his fiancée were flying to Walt Disney World and he was going to propose. The cast member said they did not have any ring boxes, but to come back first thing in the morning. That cast member stayed up all night making different options of ring boxes for the guest so that he and his fiancée would have an extra magical memory.
Hey, Blue Sky Lounge, this is Alex from Surrey, and I just thought I would share a quick video about why I love being a cast member. So part of it is that I love that you have the power to brighten someone's day. I think it's awesome that you have the power to bring a smile to somebody's face. And it doesn't matter who they are, where they're from, what's going on in their life. You have that power as a cast member just to lighten their day and make things go from worse to better in a matter of seconds. The other thing I like is one of the most powerful forces I ever believe in life is imagination. And you as a cast member are playing into a role of imagination, whether you're a Canadian cast member or a railroad worker on Big Thunder Mountain, or if you're a space explorer on Space Mountain. You're playing a part in that world of imagination. So I just think that's one of the most powerful things. And I was honored and happy as a cast member to be able to play a small role in the world of someone else's imagination. So yeah, that's pretty much why I love being a cast member, and hopefully you never know what the future is going to hold. Maybe one day I'll be a cast member again. All right, have a great day, guys.
Thanks, Alex, and welcome back to the show. Christine wrote, the biggest takeaway from my time at Disney is actually the friendships that have continued or have strengthened since my college program. For months I got to see beautiful, wild, incredible animals from Africa every day at work. And every day at work, I got to share those stories, experiences, and laugh about funny things that animals did on safari. I had the opportunity to take guests backstage to see lions up close and even got to pet a grandpa white rhino. All of those memories are amazing and incredible, but the visits from friends post-safaris are my favorite. I had the opportunity to introduce my former Canadian cast member and his Welsh wife to Alabama white barbecue sauce. I have watched one of my former Disney roommates marry the love of her life. Two of my former cast members gave me the best tour of New York City and made sure I had the best experience possible. Another former cast member stops by my hometown when he's on his travels, and we always grab at least one meal together. There was a cast member that I thought hated me back in the day, but she always makes sure she messages me War Eagle when my alma mater wins a game. I could literally go on, and that makes my heart happy. These are the moments that mean more to me because these are the friendships and experiences that I would never have had if it weren't for Disney. My wife didn't want to get proposed to in front of 1 million people while we were in Magic Kingdom, so we found a nice little secluded corner by the Chapeau on Main Street, and that's where I popped the question. Just after we were finished, there was a PhotoPass photographer walking out named Sherry, and she saw that we were hugging and asked what we were celebrating, and we told her that we just got engaged. And she took us on this spontaneous photo shoot all around Main Street. We were totally content not having any photos or anything from that, but it was Sherry's magic that brought that extra special je ne sais quoi to the night. My wife and I got married at the Disneyland Hotel, and we managed to get the fire truck from Main Street to come and bring her to the ceremony. The gentleman who drives the fire truck's named Steve, and he was with us the whole morning. The next day after our wedding, my wife and I were guests in Disneyland, just walking down Main Street, and just as we were going down, the fire truck passed by with Steve driving, and he yells from the truck, "Just seems like yesterday" to us, which really made a special moment for us because not many people get to have that experience of having the fire truck at their wedding. When my family and I were in Disneyland Paris, we were waiting to go onto the steamboat, and there was nobody there. It was the beginning of the morning, so we were talking to the cast member that was at the attraction and just striking up a conversation with him. After 5-10 minutes, he asked if we wanted to go up into the bridge of the steamboat and drive the steamboat. And of course we said yes. So thank you so much to that cast member and the cast members aboard the boat that were able to let us do that. It was so much fun. Tom wrote, my favorite thing about being a cast member was meeting new people every day. The guests were strangers really, and somehow connecting with them on a level that only you can achieve in the happiest place on earth made them seem like they were my best friend. Marnie wrote, the thing I miss most about working at the Disney store is seeing the wonder in all the little kids and big kids when they first walk into the store. It always made me smile. Especially for the kids and people who can never afford to go to the parks, it was a way that they could still have those magic memories, and I will always be thankful for that. Linda wrote, her favorite thing about being a cast member were her memories from Le Cellier. She had so many wonderful friends, the opportunity to get the Legacy Award, and the many outings they had, especially those that were for charity. Canadian Thanksgiving was one of my favorite days, but my favorite was the day I convinced the leaders to let cast members throw whipped cream pies at us for $5. We raised over $800 for Toys for Tots. This was the kindest, hardest working cast, and I miss them every day. And finally, this quote from the book Walt Disney Imagineering, a behind the dreams look at making the magic real, sums up everything it means to be a cast member. Why do we do what we do? Because at Imagineering, we never know what to expect from each day or from ourselves, especially knowing that excellence is always within our reach. Because we just can't wait to see the future. Because our creations are designed to provide continuous enjoyment for years to come. We do it so children can learn without even realizing they are learning. For grown-ups who are just children all grown up. For Walt. For each other. We do it because we believe in family. Because our parks are among the few things in the world that people of all ages, races, creeds, convictions, languages, and physical capabilities can enjoy all at the same time together. Like the young widow from Ohio who is working very hard and doing without the things she needs for herself so she can take her 2 children to Walt Disney World. Like the president of a giant European corporation who, while riding Space Mountain in Disneyland Paris, holds tightly onto his head so he doesn't lose his hat. His goofy hat. Like the dad who suddenly catches himself whistling "It's a Small World After All" while driving his family back home to Omaha. Like the college student who, while visiting the wonders of life at Epcot, experiences something that suddenly sparks in her an interest in the field of medicine. Like the Vietnam vet who sheds a silent tear of pride and remembrance in the American adventure at Epcot. Like the grandma who is sitting on a bench tenderly humming "Baby Mine" to her granddaughter while the bigger kids ride on Dumbo. We do it for the terminally ill boy whose greatest wish was to come to Disneyland. For the mounting anticipation he feels weeks, then days before he enters the front gate, from the moment he makes that transition from his world to the happiest place on earth. For his first big smile inside the park, and for the magic smile that comes as he lies in bed at night, closing his eyes and thinking about nothing but all the wonderful things he did and saw that day. For that smile. Thank you so much, cast members. We love you and all the work that you guys do.
If you're ever visiting any of the parks or resorts and you ever have a good experience, make sure you talk to guest relations either at the park or at the resort. It always makes a cast member's day to know that they helped and made somebody's day that much more magical.
And that's a wrap for this week's show. All of those stories were great. Join us next week for our Halloween treats episode. Make sure to comment below with your treat ideas. And get your thinking caps on for our show in 2 weeks when we discuss Disney villains and how to make them more prominent in the parks. If you do have any ideas for today's or a future show, leave them in the comments down below or email me at theblueskylounge@gmail.com. We're also on most social media platforms by searching The Blue Sky Lounge, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And please note that this podcast is not affiliated with Disney in any way. This is a fan-run show with fan ideas and art that is in no way a true representation of what may happen in the future with Disney. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your week to join us here at the Blue Sky Lounge. And remember to think, dream, believe, and dare yourself to use your imagination. Who knows what kind of blue sky thinking you can do from your armchair. Thanks.